Hi there, I'm Cher Johnston. Welcome to my mess. Um, you will have seen a photograph at the beginning of this video of what I'm making, and I don't really know yet what I'm making. I'm deciding. I'm making it up as I go. But I have decided that I'm going to do a stab stitch, which just means I go down to the back and pull through, and then I leave a loop and come back up through the loop. This is a buttonhole stitch. And I don't know if I want this. I'm going to try and do a scoop stitch this time. I have to go inside my line because my line it goes right to the edge of my fabric. I took some linen, and let me just tell you what linen I have. I'm sorry, there's an airplane or a helicopter outside, and I don't think you can hear it until I start to talk. And if I talk while there's an airplane or a helicopter, I think it's a helicopter, overhead, then I think my voice gets garbled. Anyways, and no editing. I don't edit at all anymore. Except to stitch the videos together. And that's what makes me happiest. And if you want to fast forward and make me sound like a chipmunk, I don't really mind that. So this is where I got from Needle in a Haystack, needlestack.com. This is the fabric, Legacy something linen. I don't know if that's the color. I think I bought 2 or 3 pieces from them, used them for other projects. And I have, little bits left over that I'm going to make into, into things. And I could show you what I'm working on. But before that, let me just tell you a little bit about the rabbit hole. So I did a video where I painted with my Inktense, not painted. I guess you could say I dyed the fabric with my Inktense pencils. And I said, I don't know what kind of fabric this is. And someone in the comments said, that is Broderie Anglaise. I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly, and my American pronunciation is very American. Dang it, here's the helicopter again. Sorry about that, can't help it. Anyways, so I, of course, Googled, how do you pronounce Broderie Anglaise? And then I got, all the videos of how you, and then because Google is connected to YouTube, I'm sorry, they must be looking for someone nearby. This happens here in LA frequently. Anyway, so because Google is connected to YouTube, then of course I get in my feed, I get, this is how you make Broderie Anglaise. And so I tried it. And maybe I should have found it before I started my video, but it doesn't. Oh, here it is. Ah, it is here in my mess. This is, it's white on, this is the top. So what you do basically is a blanket stitch really close together, like a buttonhole stitch, I guess, and then cut off the edge. And then I did a buttonhole stitch and cut out the center. And then I went, oh, was that supposed to be the other way around? I don't know. Okay, here comes the helicopter again. And I think what happens when the helicopter, I do have a microphone, but I think what happens when the helicopter is very close by, it garbles my voice. So, and if I don't talk, you don't hear it. Anyways, the other thing that happened, so there was that, the whole Broderie Anglaise. Then I did a short where I did, I'm going to show you something now. I did this on camera. And then I made a short with just pictures of this. And I was looking at it on my phone just to make sure that it looked okay and stuff, you know? And so YouTube said, search Hardanger embroidery. So I did. So it's I guess it's sort of similar. But anyways, after those two, when I was a kid, I my first little dress I made when I was like 5, and my mother had picked out this Broderie Anglaise. She called it peekaboo fabric. Okay, here comes the helicopter again. So I'm just going to stitch for a little while. I have to pay more attention to where I'm stitching at because I'm getting really close to that edge. Oh, and the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that this linen, I have small pieces of this linen fabric left. And when I did this thing here, I noticed it was kind of difficult to do. Also, in the videos, they do it in a hoop. And if you're familiar with my work, I don't use a hoop. Don't like a hoop. I've tried to use a hoop. And I think just because I didn't learn with one, it's not comfortable for me. I also didn't learn with a thimble, so I don't use a thimble. Um, I have trained myself to use a Sashiko thimble, but that's just for running stitch. And I will put a link in the description to that Sashiko thimble where I demonstrated how you use the thimble. And if you do a lot of running stitch, um, I would highly recommend that you make a Sashiko thimble because it helps, especially if you have old hands like mine, old arthritic hands. Mine are not terribly arthritic, but I live in Southern California. And here comes the helicopter. It's probably, I suspect, it's a police helicopter. They're looking for some criminal. And so what they what they do is they fly around in circles, and at night you can see they put a spotlight on the person, and sometimes you can see how close they are to your house. Oh, by the way, because someone will ask if I don't say, let me just, I have to end off this thread and get a new one. So when I end the thread, I'm going to go to the back like this. And then I'm going to bury this thread here. I'm not going to make a knot because, well, I just don't think it's necessary. But let's go a little bit further and then come back. That's enough of a knot. This thread that I have is from a thrift store. And I may have to, excuse me, may have to look it up online because I really like it. It's 100% silk. It's from Wiltex Threads Inc. vineyardsilk.com. And I do like it. I don't know how expensive it is because, like I said, I got it at a thrift store. So, you know, and I don't remember how much it was. It's probably really cheap. And I fold over the thread, try to push it through. That doesn't work. I don't normally thread needles on camera, but I've decided I'm not. Pull it. There we go. I'm not going to edit anymore. If I go for an hour, then I go for an hour, and you can fast forward if you like. And or slow down. Somebody pointed out to me that you could slow it down if you want to know, you want to see what I'm doing. I'm going to start this by going through there. I can cut that off later. Okay, I'm going to go back up here. And here comes the helicopter again. Okay. I decided I will edit because this is just irritating me. I'm going to finish this off camera and come back. Okay. I went around. I'm going to go back down really close to where I came up. And then, again, I'm going to go through the threads on the back here. The helicopter got really loud. I think it was really close by and eventually stopped. And then my neighbor turned on the Mexican music really, really loud. And I can't have that in the video because, you know. Okay. I don't know, I don't remember if I said so or not, but I starched this. I think I started talking about hoops, and I don't use a hoop and all that stuff. And then I forgot. So I forgot to mention that I starched it so that I think maybe it would stay stiff. Okay, I should tell you what I'm doing. I'm cutting away the fabric that's on the outside. And I wanted to show you something because I started making pages for my book, and then I decided I didn't want to use paper. So I took some, let me zoom you out a little bit. I pieced together some fabrics, like the Sherry Iris way. She takes them and folds over a little bit and then stitches them together like you would do with English paper piecing. I think that happens when I try to talk too fast. And then I put a running stitch along the edges so that the seams lie really flat. And then I thought, why don't I do some starch? I don't know how well you can see, but it's starched. So it's really stiff. So what I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to sew these down just at the sides so that this will still flap up and you can see the backstory, because I like the backstory. I think it's kind of cool to see, what happened there. So yeah, and then I started with this. This is what gave me the idea in the first place. I made this for the outside cover. And then I decided, why don't I starch it, see what happens? And maybe I could make some pages. So here's another page. And here's another page. That's the back side of the page. Here's another one. This is like sort of random, sort of Disney kind of things. I don't know if I'm going to use this one. Look at that piece of thread. Ah, it's all starched up. Anyway, so those are my pages for my book. And this, I felt like this page here is missing something. I think I want this up here. And I was going to just, like on this page, I just sewed this on the page. But I've been wanting to try this. So I thought, well, why not? What the heck? Why not? So I'm going to try to do some, actually when I sat down this morning, when I sat down to do this, I was going to just do this on the outside and cut it out and then do like a rose or something in the center. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to try to do like a flower, like a 5-petal flower, and cut out the insides of it. But it does not have to be Broderie Anglaise or Hardinger or anything like that. It can just be whatever I want it to be. And this is what I want to do, I think. I'll do a circle in the center. And then petals. And this is my idea, is that I'm liking working with this thread. I used it to stitch this together there. And first it's 2-ply, so at first I took it apart and just used one, and then I decided that it's not as easy to thread the whole thing in a needle, but I decided I could do that. And just do use the whole thing. Oh, I closed my window because of the noise out there, and now it's too warm in here. So this is what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, and I'll probably do it mostly off camera. So this is a detached chain stitch that you just saw me put in there. And I'm just doing little straight stitches over top of that chain stitch. I did well, I like this. I'm liking this. I did, when I did this, I did a chain stitch all the way around, and then I sewed over top of it. It took a really long time. It was a lot of stitching. But I, I like the effect. I think this might be similar if I really want it to, um, let's see. If I'm gonna cut out the center, this needs to go to the side like this. Oh, I just split that stitch. I guess it's fine. Nope, it's not. Well, I'll tell you what, this might do what I want it to do. Um, but I think if I want to cut out the center, I probably need to do lots and lots of stitches. Or, I might be able to cut it out and then just stitch around and around and around. Does that make sense? This would be easier if I could hold it right up to my face. Let me do that and come back. I think I cut one of the little threads. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's just go like this. And I hope you realize by now that I'm just making it up as I go. I want this in there. Probably doesn't even matter because you're not going to see you're not going to see the back anyway. Oh, I'm going to run out of thread before I'm done. And I will bet you anything, this is not anything new. I'll bet you anything there's a name for it and everything. I just don't know it. Let's cut this off because I think that's pretty much buried. Let's cut off this little tail there. Ho ho ho! Pretty nice. Except that I'm going to run out of thread. But now I want to try something different. Okay. I'm I have to take a little break because the window's closed. So I'm going to do that. And oh, nice. I just want to hide this. There's a little thread right there. I don't know if I can with the end of this. Ah, almost. Almost. Ah, that did it. There's cat hair in there too. Okay, I'm going to bury this thread in the back and take a little break and come back. Well, this is what I did. I did this one and I just did satin stitch over top of the line that I drew there. And I don't like it. This one I cut a hole in it first and then I put the stitches in. And I think I like that. And then I was looking at this. These are the little pieces of fabric that I dyed. And I was looking at that. That's going to be so cute. Okay, but I'm going to do this on camera because, you know, you need to know that I sometimes make mistakes and I take stuff out. So I'm going to take this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut holes and stitch over the holes. And if it's a complete flop, you'll never know because I'm not going to post the video. Okay, I'm going to do this off camera and come back. Well, it looks like a real mess, but it's okay because I'm going to cut this out. Oh, I should do this off camera so I can see better. I'll be right back. Here we are. I think what do I think? I think I'm not going to worry about the knot on the back. And when I did this one, I did it like this. I just put the needle in the center in the hole. And then I pulled through like that. I think I need a bigger bite out of the fabric though. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. There we go. All right. Then, see, this way I don't have to worry about both stitches. Because, oh no, I got fuzz all over. Okay, because I'm only coming out in one spot. I got fuzz all over. Oh my gosh. All right. All right, now we're going. Now we're moving. Okay. My neighbor has music, and I think if I talk, it makes me sound jumbled. And I can't close the window because it's too warm. So I'm going to do this off camera. That's not looking too bad though. And I'll be back. I think it's looking pretty good. And I don't know if you still call it Broderie Anglaise if you cut the holes first and then do the stitching. I don't know. I'm sure it's called something. If you know, let me know in the comments what this is actually called. The other thing that I wanted to come on here and say is that it's starting to fray some. I've had it in my hands manipulating it for some time, and it's not, what do I want to say? It would have been better to do a large piece and put it in a hoop. It would have worked out much better. I I don't use a hoop. And yeah, but it's fine. I think it's still kind of cute. So, let me know in the comments if you have some idea of what this might be called, or should I just call it faux Broderie Anglaise? I think for now that's what I'm going to call it. I could ask ChatGPT. I'll ask Nora tonight. Oh, look at that. I'm going to put a little button in the center. Isn't that cute? Okay. If you want to know more about these other pieces, there is a link on the screen right now with a playlist, all my favorite things, or my favorite things book, or something like that. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me today. Bye.